and swift.
Well, the competition has begun, but let the rivalries now begin. As match number 2 comes our way in the Asia Cup, we build up to Sri Lanka, co-hosts and defending champions of the tournament, against Bangladesh in a rivalry where no one likes to lose. This is Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. It's very good afternoon to Wasim Jaffer, who in addition to handling responsibilities aplenty in India, also takes care of the cubs, not the grown-up tigers, but the Bangladeshi cubs. So he knows all about this Bangladesh team. Afternoon, Wasim. Good fixture this. No one likes to lose this game, do they?
No, no one likes. Obviously, it's a very, very important game. Start of the tournament, important points to be collected, and we've got rivalry. You spoke yesterday that that Nagin rivalry is back, and hope to have a good game. Looks a little bit overcast, and let's see. I mean, talking to Farveez a little bit before, it looks like it's going to rain, so yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm not personally a fan of that term, the Nagan rivalry. I don't want an international sport rivalry to be named after a fictitious snake turning into, but anyway, but we can't help but call it that. Farveez Maharoof, I don't know if you've ever tried to do that, but it's clearly become a thing, hasn't it? Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, this is a rivalry that has got plenty of spice in it.
Absolutely. Ever since the Nidas Trophy game happened at the R. Premdas Stadium, this has marketed by itself. And gone are the days when we played, we used to, most of the time the games have been one-sided, so we don't have to do any dances. Sri Lanka used to thrash Bangladesh. But come nowadays, Bangladesh have come a long way, and Sri Lanka also, we have lost a lot of players, and the consistency of the performance has been an issue. And yeah, it's a good rivalry. Yesterday I said it's not India-Pakistan for sure, but it's building up to be something big. It's already there, and it'll even get more competitive with two very good teams.
He's a very astute analyst, Farveez. That's why we have him back, but he's already fired some shots. Just reminding everybody that Bangladesh have only just come close to Sri Lanka and some of the others. In Farveez's days, it wasn't even much of a rivalry, so no dance needed. I saw what you did there, Farveez. But let me go straight back to you. First game at Palikile, pictures that we're getting from there suggest some cloud cover, overcast conditions. Bangladesh have won the toss and decided to bat first. Give me your reaction to that.
Yeah, I think I spoke to Wasim before we went on air. The prediction is to rain, but you never know Sri Lankan weather. It comes and goes, and also month of September, late August, generally it rains in Palikile. That's why the Asala Perera happens end of August, July as well. The worshipping for rainfalls, and the weather gods have heard the plea, and it has been raining for the last 2 days. So I reckon it's going to be a tough call, but for Shakib Al Hasan, he did the right thing, not thinking about the rain, see the pitch, because Shakib played in this pitch during LPL. He knows exactly how it's been playing. So I think it's a smart call. If I were the captain, I would have Barrett as well in that surface.
Interesting. Now, does that perhaps make you feel happy if you're Dasun Shanaka? Not a bad toss to lose. We like to see teams batting first in these afternoon games. We saw Multan yesterday, Wasim, and we know it sort of under lights does something. So how would you feel if you were Dasun Shanaka about this toss result?
Well, he said at the toss that he would have probably batted first as well. But given the conditions, given the rain around, he doesn't mind bowling first. So if he had won the toss, I'm sure he would have batted first. You don't think about the rain. You post a big total and you'll try and defend it because you expect the ball to seam and swing in the later half. And Bangladesh have a decent bowling attack. So it's not in obviously Shanaka's hand, but to come out, they've got a depleted bowling attack. But to come out and bowl really well, they've got a task in hand, playing at home, first big game.
Yeah, that means depleted is as kind a word as we can use. This is a first string bowling attack that has completely been put aside through either illness or injury. So it's a lot of work for Dasun Shanaka and the Sri Lankan team management to figure out. Let's have a look at the team that they've gone with in the opening game of the Asia Cup as they look to defend their title. Let's also remind you that the list of injuries include Vanindu Hasaranga. That was massive. And also Dushmanta Chamira, Lahiru Kumara, Dilshan Madhushanka. We'll come to that team in just a second. But let me just get Farveez's thoughts as well on how Sri Lanka can cope with this. Two ways of looking at this, Farveez. Either an opportunity for some players to make a mark before the World Cup, or serious blow and panic so close to such a big tournament. How would you assess what Sri Lanka have to cope with their bowlers?
I think it's a very good opportunity for the players coming in. That's how I look at it. Even the last Asia Cup when we covered, we did have some bowlers missing for Sri Lanka, but they in the end they won it. So I reckon it's a massive opportunity for Kasun Raditha, who's been bowling really well in the LPL. Matisha Patiran, a young man, what a huge opportunity for him to showcase his talent. Pramod Madushan, who picked up 4 wickets in the final, gets the opportunity as well. I don't think he's playing today, but he's in the squad. So I reckon it's a massive opportunity for the youngsters to stake their claim come the World Cup selection coming up very soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to just get that team for you in a second. Bangladesh too have their own challenges. No Tamim Iqbal, Mushfiqur Rahim injured as well in this. Mustafizur Rahman's been carrying a bit of a niggle, but let's start at the top with the captaincy situation. Never a dull moment in Bangladesh cricket, but Shakib's return as captain, what does that do, you think, for just the overall mood of the team?
I think he is the senior most guy and well respected guy. So if Tamim is not doing it, it makes sense to give it to Shakib. Because the World Cup is such close corners and everybody respects Shakib. He's such a big player in Bangladesh and world over, so it makes sense. He's well respected among his players. It's look a young side. I mean, barring Mushfiq and Shakib, but the two openers get an opportunity since Litton and Tamim are missing. It's a huge opportunity for them. They're good players. They've come through the Tigers program and all that. They've done well in the domestic circuit, and then after that you've got Tauhid Hriday, who's a very exciting player. He's done well. Najmul Hasan Shanto is a good player. So quite a looking forward to this game. Yeah,
absolutely. We're going to talk about those Bangladeshi players, especially the ones that are we may not have heard if you've not followed Bangladesh's bilateral cricket in recent times, but Tauhid Hriday is one to look out for. Let's look at the Sri Lankan team now. I think we've got that finally. So lots to break down with Farveez, Maharoof as well. And there was a question on who comes in for Wanindu Hasaranga, and looks like Dunit Walalaga has been given the nod. There is some batting ability there too, which Hasaranga used to bring. Tikshana Patirana and Kasun Rajata. Dasun Chanaka saying, Farveez, that there are 3 seamers when asked about his combination. He's clearly including himself in that, isn't he?
He has no choice. He has to bowl when you play 2 seamers, and you have Chamik Karunaratne, who was part of the squad. He's no more in the squad. So I reckon Dasun Chanaka will have to bowl. Being bowling in the daytime, possibly at least 5 overs for my liking, and Dhananjay de Silva to fill in as well. So I think Dhananjay de Silva for me is a far better one-day bowler than test bowling. So I reckon this is a balanced side, and this is what we all thought: 6 batters, 2 all-rounders, 3 seamers. So very good balanced team, but it all depends on how they start. The top order, if they fire chasing the runs, facing the runs that Bangladesh made, I reckon they got enough firepower in the middle order to chase it down.
Yeah, probably those injuries, if we had to read much into Shanaka's comments, we sometimes criticize him, Wasim, for not bowling as much as he should be. But the injury situation maybe will change that?
I think so. He has to bowl, like Farveez said, at least 5 to 6 overs. The conditions might force him to bowl a lot more than he desires to, because he's a third seamer. You don't want to go straight after 10 overs to the spinners. It takes the pressure off, and generally Bangladesh plays spin well. So you want to stick, to new ball. The ball is pretty much new. So if Shanaka bowls 5-6 overs, it gives their spinners. Wallalage is somebody who's playing international cricket. Is his early stages, and Dhananjay de Silva is a finger spinner. So a lot of pressure on Tikshana to deliver as well. He's a very renowned spinner, if I can. So if Hasaranga was there, then his job becomes a little easier. But then Shanaka has to bowl, he has to bowl a lot of overs.
Yeah, absolutely. Bangladesh have injury concerns of their own. Wasim makes the point of Litton Das ruled out on the eve of the tournament. He's such a big player for them. And they did bring in Anamol Haq Bijoy. Let's just have a quick look at the Bangladesh team too in just a bit. And we learned that they're playing 2 off spinners, which is a curious choice. Both Mehdi Hassan Miraz and Mahedi Hassan are part of the 11. We'll just bring that to you in a second. But let's just focus on some of the points before that Wasim and Farveez have already brought up. Let's just talk about recent form for both teams. And if we start with Bangladesh, they're coming at the back of what would have been a moral bruising series defeat against Afghanistan. So Wasim, let me just stay with you on this. As far as Shakib says, we're not looking at the World Cup. But how, prior to that series, this is a strong Bangladesh side. How ready are they? And what are the areas they still need to work on in this tournament?
Well, I think, Tamim's injury, they don't know how serious it is because he hasn't played for a while. So, their openers to fire, if Tamim unfortunately is not available in the World Cup, these guys will obviously play in the World Cup, so their form remains to be seen. I think the middle order or the fast bowling remains the same. I don't see much changes in the squad. It's only the injured players probably coming back. Ibadat Hussain, Tamim Iqbal, Liton Das, they are the ones who might come back. But I see it's pretty much similar to the World Cup squad.
All right, let's just have a look at that Bangladesh team now, confirm it for you. They had to make some calls themselves, so now that we've got confirmation, they have to fill big shoes of Tamim Iqbal at the top. Shakib's going to be captain, of course. Mohammad Naeem and Tanzid Hassan has been given the nod. Shanto, Shakib, Tawhid Rida averages nearly 50 in his opening 8 ODIs. Mushfiqur is fit, which is really good news. There was concern about his availability, as also Mustafizur Rahman. So that's a couple of key senior players that are available in playing. Tashkin, both the Mehedis. So don't get confused. They both bowl off spin, they both can bat, and Shariful Islam. Wasim, just thoughts on that? And Tanzid getting the nod over Anamul Haq, and Tawhid Rida is one to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean Tanzid, he was obviously picked, originally in the squad. So Inamul Haq comes in for injured Litonda. So it makes sense to play the guy who was picked before. He's had a very good emerging tournament which was played in Sri Lanka. So I think he gets a nod ahead. Exciting player, left-hander, pretty good technique. So I'm looking forward to him. Worked with him a little bit. Tawhid Rida, he had a very good Bangladesh Premier League. So like you have said, he's got a good start to his international career. So looking forward to him as well. They've got a good fast bowling attack. Bowling under lights in the second half, it will be interesting. And then Mehdi Hassan, I think he probably plays because he can bat. I thought Nasoom Ahmed might get a nod ahead. But I think because Sri Lanka has a bit of left-hander in the middle order and number 7 and 8 can bat, I think that gives them a little bit depth in the batting.
Yeah, Farveez, very quickly, your thoughts on the Bangladesh playing 11?
I think it's important Sri Lanka uses a new ball. The openers, Mohammad Naeem and Tanzid Hassan, youngsters, they're just coming into the national side. That's where I think Kasun Raditha will be very, very handy. If the new ball can dictate terms against a strong Bangladesh middle order, I think Sri Lanka can make some inroads. And also, we spoke about Dasun Chanaka just briefly. I mean, today is the day I think he should take the new ball. There's a tendency that Matisha Patran doesn't take the new ball. Mahesh Theekshana, I beg your pardon, he takes the new ball. So I reckon today, gloomy day, bit of cloud cover going around. Dasun Chanaka is the ideal bowler to seam it around a little bit and test those two relatively inexperienced opening batters of Bangladesh. So I reckon if Dasun Chanaka can do that, I just have a feeling that he could nick 1 or 2 of Bangladesh top order.
Yeah, it's fair call. Let's look at Sri Lanka's pace options, break them down for you. Already mentioned that they're missing a serious set of first choice players in Chamira and Lairu Kumara, and if you want to extend that to even Dilshan Madhushanka, but they do have Kasun Rajata. They've got Matisha Patirana, whose stock only seems to be growing in white ball cricket. Binora Fernando and Pramod Madhushan were squad options that they did have. Dasun Chanaka is a new ball bowler. Just give me your reaction to that, Wasim. Not a bad option?
Not a bad option at all. I mean, I think he swings the ball and somebody who can puts the ball in the right place, that's what you need on a good batting track. The conditions might favor a little bit to the batsman in the first half. So somebody who can swing the ball, I think, makes it a little bit difficult. He probably will bring the ball into the left-handers, and that is something you want. Patirana is usually bowls in the middle overs and death overs. So I think I completely agree with Farveez.
Mahesh Theekshana will follow the pace bowlers, wouldn't he? And in a way, we tend to put the spotlight a lot on Wanindu Hasaranga when Sri Lanka played both of them. But Theekshana in those qualifiers, Farveez, he really bailed them out in big games, at times when the batting failed. Now he's the lone spinner. What can we expect from Theekshana?
It's a massive opportunity for Mahesh Theekshana. He's being the second preference after Wanindu Hasaranga. This is the opportunity to step up. And as you said during the qualifiers, he's one of the bowlers who made sure Sri Lanka won that championship and got that automatic qualification. So I reckon it's a time that Mahesh Theekshana as a senior player steps up, and I feel that he will do well in pitches which is skidding on. Pallakele usually skids on to the bat, and that's where Mahesh Theekshana is very dangerous against the batter. So I reckon even Dhananjay De Silva, don't forget him, because there are so many left-handers in Bangladesh's side. Even in the power play, there's an option of Dhananjay De Silva. So I reckon Sri Lanka has got the firepower, even in the bowling lineup, if they are smart in using their bowlers.
If you can talk to those numbers, Farveez, it's a bit mean, I think. I don't know if Sri Lankan fans think of this too, that Theekshana bullies lesser opposition outside the top 10 and then against the big boys. Not bad numbers, average of 28, economy of 4.5, but is that an impression that Theekshana tends to thrive when the opposition isn't at its peak?
I reckon top 10 teams definitely, they with all the facilities, they will pick and they will know what exactly Mahesh Theekshana is all about, the variations what he uses. So correctly, I think his economy rate is slightly higher, but speaking to the few of the opposition, known a few of the opposition players, they always talk about his strength of bowling wicket to wicket and not bowling the length which easy to drive. So I reckon Mahesh Theekshana, yes, in any form of cricket, even one of the Hasaranga's numbers against the top 10 and away from the top 10 will be different. So it's all about soaking up that pressure. Asia Cup, big game, first game, under lights at home. The pressure will be on. This is where characters are made.
I guess the other question is Mahesh Theekshana as impactful an ODI bowler as he is a T20 bowler?
I think the mystery probably will play its part. Sometimes, like I've said before, Hasaranga, I feel he's more, he's difficult to face or, difficult. He takes more wickets in T20 circuit than the 50 over because you've got 10 overs to bowl and then the batters take a little bit more time. So I feel probably the same with Theekshana, but he bowls wicket to wicket like Farveez said. He's got a little bit of mystery about him. So if you have not faced him before, if you have not confronted him before, it might be a little tricky. So he'll attack the stumps and somebody like him can give you wickets in the middle overs.
All right, we've spoken of the rivalry that these two teams are forging over recent years, but there's also some friendly banter and there's also some fun that the fans can have when it comes to these Asia Cup encounters. So we had some fun with the Bangladesh cricket-loving public. We asked them if they wanted to pick a player out of some of their rival teams who they'd pick. This is pretty good. Have a look.
Well, I think in the Bangladesh team, actually, I think that we're struggling with number 7 a little bit. So I think I'm going to go with Hardik Pandya because he's a pace bowling all-rounder. So, we can have that balance in between. And of course, any of the other, great players, whoever comes in, like be it Shaheen Shah, Freezy or Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, anyone. But I think that in terms of balance, I think Hardik Pandya would actually make a difference if he was in the Bangladesh team.
Virat Kohli is the one I should pick in my team because his batting performances and his pressure handling situation and his service over the years to the Indian team is one of the most magical thing that happened in world cricket.
For a huge bowling variety, I would choose Rashid Khan because he's a leg spinner and we don't have a leg spinner in the squad. So it will become very lethal for us if he joins, or somehow if we think about the batting approach, I think the addition of Babar Azam can be a huge thing for us because we need a very solid batsman who can score runs and score runs at a very decent pace and who is very consistent.
I'd like to see Virat Kohli in my team and Hasranga De Silva because Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli. He's a world-class player, and Hasranga De Silva because of the all-round capability he have.
Rashid Khan because we don't have any leg spinners, and maybe Virat Kohli for his batting.
Babar Azam because in our ODI team the opening slot is not fixed, so Babar Azam can play a vital role because he's one of the best player right now in opening.
I think we have a type of player that's missing for quite a few years. We definitely need a leg spinner, and there's one leg spinner from Afghanistan who's also pretty handy with the bat, so I'd go for Rashid Khan.
All right, that was quite the assortment of players. It's got a smile on the faces of Farveez and Wasim and myself too, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Bangladesh fans are seriously passionate about things. I saw Virat Kohli and Babar Azam as potential options. They've got a pretty good number 3 going at the moment because Najmul Hossain Shanto made his name in the longer formats, is just forging himself into an important part of that top order. At number 3, his numbers are getting better and better. Wasim, as we look at Shanto, in the absence of Tamim, Shakib perhaps batting a bit lower, this is a player on the rise?
Definitely. I think his recent performances has improved, along all 3 formats. He had a very good Bangladesh Premier League, and I think he feels like he belongs there. That number 3 spot he made his own, and he's very good technically as well. Very strong mentally, very good fielder, a team man probably. That's what they needed. Somebody after Mushfiq and Mahmudullah Riyad and Shakib being there, Tamim Iqbal. So they needed somebody to bat at number 3, and I think they found a very good player in Najmul Hasan Shanto.
All right, we're fast approaching the first ball. So let's get a quick prediction from both Farveez and Wasim. Let me go to you, Farveez. Now, cloud cover around, you know Palikele and the conditions there better than anyone. What sort of score is competitive, and what do you think that Bangladesh will get having won the toss?
I think anything close to 275 will be a fighting score. For Sri Lanka to chase it down, it won't be easy. But as Marwan said in the pitch report, in the evenings, ball tends to come to the bat much better than the first inning. So if Sri Lanka can keep it to under 275, that's definitely in the game.
All right, so test for Sri Lanka's challenged bowling lineup without the frontliners. Farveez, are they going to get them to 250, 260? Give me a first innings prediction. Come on.
258.
258. Fast score. Let's see what Wasim Jaffer says. He wasn't far off. He said 370 yesterday, Farveez. But Pakistan didn't bat well enough or long enough to get it. They only got 350. Yeah. Wasim.
I'm going around 270, 272.
Oh, 272, 258 and 272. Very near, huh? You two are. All right, let's see how things stand at half time. Very big thank you to Farveez, Maharoof and Wasim Jaffer. We're all set for yet another chapter to be added to this ever-growing rivalry between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Let's see where things stand at the end of the Bangladesh innings. Join us then for Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. And do download the mobile app if you haven't already. We'll see you at the end of the innings.
Stunning looks, then swift.
Make sure you download the ESPN Cricket Info app to stay updated with the very latest from the world of cricket.